WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Area residents pushing for tighter restrictions on guns held a march and a rally in downtown Tupelo this morning. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Victoria Bailey. Our Chad Groening was there to catch all of the action and has more.
They marched from Fair Park carrying various banners. The Tupelo event was one of many across the country affiliated with March for Our Lives, which came about in the wake of last month's shooting in Parkland, Florida.
Our message is that we say with the students, never again, enough is enough, no more of our school children killed in school with assault rifles.
Meadows says they are standing with students in Florida who are calling for specific changes.
They're calling for a gun background checks, for assault rifles to be rethought, high capacity magazines, to have some regulation there, age limits. You know, let's get started somewhere.
Mississippi is arguably a very pro-Second Amendment state. Governor Phil Bryant is aware of this weekend's rally and this reaction to the call for more gun control.
The only way that you will stop an armed suspect that is killing children in a school is if you are armed. An individual with a weapon will not stop killing until he is stopped with another weapon. You can't advise him to put his weapon down. You can't talk him into it. So we must protect ourselves. We must protect our children.
And Bryant says creating more laws won't help.
Lawbreakers do just that. They break the law. They don't pay attention to the law. So you add more gun laws, and it takes more away from honest citizens, and criminals will still be armed and violent.
Still, Meadows and her group are convinced that something must be done.
Let's give it a try. Let's try something.
Chad Groening, WCBI News, Tupelo.
There are no gun laws pending in the Mississippi legislature. Well, several dozen Amory residents showed their support for the March for Our Lives movement today. They joined the hundreds of thousands across the country marching for stricter gun laws. The march was organized by Amory High School senior Flannery Plum. It began at Amory's middle school, and participants marched more than 10 blocks to downtown Amory, with the mission being to end gun violence and asking Congress to take up gun control legislation. One participant says you shouldn't be surprised that a march like this is happening in Amory.
It's even come to the core of the reddest of the red states. You can't buy alcohol here, and people are standing up against the NRA, and that shows that the divide isn't really as big. It looks like it's a little more to the other side, when even in the rural conservative areas people are standing up against it.
Events were scheduled in every state and on every continent. It's time now for a first look at our weather with meteorologist Amanda Reynolds. Amanda?
Well, it was a little bit of a cloudy afternoon and now a cloudy evening out there. 69 degrees, that southwesterly wind going to continue through the overnight hours. It'll actually shift to be northwesterly tomorrow, but there's that line of storms that's just off to our north that could bring some rain, especially across the northern tier of Mississippi later on this evening. Nothing severe in it, just a few light showers. So again, we'll remain fairly mild down in the upper 50s and low 60s across most of the area, but tomorrow going to be a little cooler as well. I'll have more on that in just a few minutes.
Thanks a lot, Amanda. Well, Starkville makes history today with the first ever Gay Pride Parade, and supporters and a few vocal protesters lined the street.
Many people in the Starkville community welcomed those who marched in the first Gay Pride Parade.
We're here, we're queer, we're going to keep going and keep on trekking forward.
The festivities kicked off Friday night with a welcome party and live music. But Kevin Pulver says he isn't here for the party. He's got a message to send.
We're here to tell people that if they'll turn to the Lord Jesus Christ in repentance and faith, not only will He forgive them, but He'll give them new heart and new desires. They don't have to be perverts. They don't have to be slaves to sin.
Adam Pittman is attending and participating in the Pride Weekend festivities. He says it was a necessity he come out and see Starkville make history.
I actually just came out to my family yesterday because of the parade and everything that's going on.
In February, the Starkville Board of Aldermen voted 4-3 against the parade, then later reversed the decision. Pittman says he's so thankful that he lives in a city that allows him to openly express himself.
It's really empowering because especially, you know, in Mississippi, we don't have a huge gay rights. You get really proud and excited because Mississippi hasn't really had a good track record with gay rights, and we're going towards that. We're moving towards that in the future, and it's very exciting.
Refuge 461 Ministries' Lisa Selby was also there in protest of the parade, but she says they wanted to take a little bit of a different approach than others.
We're just offering free water and chips and hoping that as people walk into our pathway that we can just share Christ with them and let them know that yes, he does love them. He loved them so much that he went to the cross for them and for their sin.
The weekend continues with O'Hare's Pride Show, hosted by Scott Nevins from Bravo's hit TV show, The People's Couch. It began tonight at 8 and goes until midnight at Rick's Cafe. Well, volunteers in Starkville came together to help put on MSU's 7th annual big event. Now, the big event is a day full of giving back for both MSU students and community volunteers. The volunteers visited multiple locations, including the Salvation Army and Christian World Missions. They did a variety of jobs, including sorting, painting, hanging clothes, and organizing. Mississippi State student Taylor Bocage has attended the big event for the past 3 years. Meteorologists from all over the South gather at Mississippi State for a weekend symposium. More on that after the break.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Victoria Bailey.
Welcome back. Well, professional meteorologists and weather enthusiasts have taken over Mississippi State's campus for the Southeast Severe Storm Symposium. The symposium is a 2-day conference meant to connect students with meteorologists already in the field. WCBI's Riley Livingston has more on the story.
The 16th annual Southeast Severe Storm Symposium brings around 100 meteorologists from all over the Southeast to MSU. They come to share their knowledge and connect with students. President of the East Mississippi chapter of the NWA and AMS, Alex Herbst, says it is a great way for students to stay up to date in the weather world.
The symposium is a great opportunity for students, faculty, professionals to all come together and be able to learn more about the weather enterprise and what is going on right now in the world of weather. It's put on every year by the local chapter here at Mississippi State, and we really try to have a wide variety of people come and talk about what's going on right now with the world of weather.
Some of the speakers are employees from the National Weather Service and meteorologists from the Weather Channel. Students even get a chance to speak. Kristana Kay is one of these student speakers. She says making connections is a great opportunity.
Well, with Symposium, we get renowned names from all across the country coming to Mississippi State University, and being able to have that one-on-one interaction with them is something that you could rarely have even at a national conference. And because we are a smaller conference, we're able to have that one-on-one interaction.
The symposium will cover more than just severe weather. Former WCBI weather meteorologist Isaac Williams came to the event to talk about his path in the business.
Basically, I'm going to be talking about my journey in television. I've been doing this for almost 5 years now, and basically from the latter part of grad school to where I am now, just kind of the journey that I took.
Herbst says the biggest benefit of the conference is its small size. It allows for a one-on-one connection. Reporting from Starkville, I am Riley Livingston, WCBI News.
The symposium will wrap up tomorrow. Well, the Big Creek community throws a parade, the Grand Marshal, an 8-year-old cancer survivor. Today in downtown Calhoun City, the community came together to celebrate what they're calling a miracle. In January 2017, Caitlin Stone was diagnosed with stage 4 RMS. It's a form of cancer that attacks the entire body. 10 months ago, doctors at St. Jude's Hospital sent the family home. Doctors told Caitlin's parents, Cecil and Jessica, that there was no more that they could do, and they gave the 8-year-old a week and a half to 6 weeks to live. Now that was 10 months ago. Today, Caitlin is in full remission, and her parents believe prayer is the only cure for cancer.
When we moved out here to Big Creek, Big Creek, this community of Big Creek has came around us, came around Caitlin. They have supported her.
Surrounded her in prayers.
Surrounded her in prayers, and they have been wonderful.
Today is Caitlin's birthday. She turns 9. Happy birthday, Caitlin.
Well, just off to our north, there's this band of showers that will begin pushing to the south into parts of North Mississippi over the next few hours, but there will be more rain in store by the time we get to the middle of the week. More on that right after the break.
Your first alert forecast with meteorologist Amanda Reynolds.
Well, we actually started the day with a good bit of sunshine, but the clouds continued to build in all afternoon. We're still mostly cloudy out there. This is our live look over downtown Tupelo. Most of us hanging out in the upper 60s, but a few areas back to the north and west, Tupelo and Oxford down in the low and mid 60s. So that's going to be a trend not only through the overnight hours, but through the day tomorrow as well. Notice this band of showers off to parts of central Tennessee, back towards Memphis, and even into parts of western or eastern Arkansas. That's going to continue to slide to the south and east overnight. So we could see a few showers, especially across the northern tier of Mississippi, Iuka, Corinth, Ripley, Boonville. You may see a few showers overnight. Not anything severe, probably not even anything that might even wake you up at night. Just some relatively light rain. But again, we'll be down into the mid 50s for most of us. We'll be fairly mild. But again, can't rule out that stray shower, especially further to the north. But areas further to the south, they're going to continue to see those southwesterly breezes. That line of showers is actually a weak little cold front that will push through, and that will keep areas to the north a little bit cooler as we go forward through the overnight hours, so warmer off to the south and east. But the winds will actually shift by the time we get to tomorrow morning to be out of the northwest, and that will keep us a little bit cooler through the day tomorrow, starting out around 60 degrees and only making it into the low 70s, but will stay mostly cloudy through much of the day tomorrow as well. So again, mostly cloudy. Can't rule out again that chance of a brief shower, but really nothing to really worry about. But there is going to be some significant rain by the time we get to Wednesday and Thursday, but before that we'll just keep some of those early week rain showers. So here's as we go forward through the overnight hours. Again, we'll see that front, and that will push those weak little showers through, but we'll pretty much stay relatively dry at least through the next several days. But once we get to Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning, notice that front. That will start to push off to the southeast. That could spark some stronger storms as well as some heavy rain, and that could actually lead to some flooding concerns across parts of the southeast. Notice this wide band areas of 3 to even 4 inches. That could set up pretty much anywhere across our viewing area, and those that do see that significant rainfall could see some flash flooding concerns. But again, tomorrow as well as Monday and Tuesday, just some brief chances for showers, but Wednesday and Thursday, that's going to be the significant rain. But Wednesday actually going to be the warmest day of the week. Will be in the mid and upper 70s.
We're back in Kansas City as we preview Mississippi State's Elite 8 matchup with UCLA next in sports.
Here's WCBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe. WCBI Sports coverage of MSU women's basketball is brought to you by OCH Regional Medical Center, Advanced Medicine, Compassionate Care, and visit Columbus, the city that has it all.
There's only a select few that can call themselves elites, but only 4 of those 8 can say they made the Final Four. Sunday night, Mississippi State will have their sights set on another regional title as the Final Four in Columbus, Ohio awaits. WCBI's Tom Ebel has more on the matchup with UCLA as he joins us from Kansas City. Tom?
Robbie, trying to compare Los Angeles to Starkville is about as apples to oranges as it gets, but if we're talking women's basketball, both programs have a lot more similarities than you'd think. Mississippi State being the Trailblazers a year ago with its magical run to the national championship for the first time, and UCLA getting into the Elite 8 this year for the first time in more than 2 decades with a win over Texas Friday. UCLA head coach Corey Close actually said the Bulldogs' run from a year ago has been used as inspiration as her Bruins try to write their own storybook ending.
They play for each other and for him in a really cool way. And I think you could just see their hunger last year. I could see it. I became a fan watching their hunger to have that breakthrough and their hunger to represent their school and to represent the person on their right and the person on their left, and a feeling of responsibility in that. And I actually talked about that in film today, is that you have to have that deep hunger and belief that you want to keep playing with each other and for each other.
UCLA is hungry to write its own history, but Victoria Vivian says don't sell the Bulldogs too short, as Hail State Hoops has plenty of motivation to complete the ultimate goal they came so close to completing a year ago.
They got the energy, they coming in, they hungry for it, but don't knock us down. Like, we have the same energy as we had last year. It's just who's going to win.
Even last year I did it for my seniors, so each year I just do it for my seniors and seeing where the program was and where it is now. I mean, I don't want to let them fall short of what they should get. I mean, they should get the best, which is the national championship.
For this team, this group, these seniors, they, you know, the thing about them, they know what's at stake. They've been in this game before, and you know, that I think gives me confidence, probably gives them a little confidence too, to understand what's coming down the pipe and how to respond in certain situations.
Tip-off between the Bulldogs and the Bruins is set for 6:30 p.m. Sunday. Make sure you tune in to WCBI Sports all throughout the day Sunday as we get you ready for the Elite Eight matchup between Mississippi State and UCLA, as both teams look to write their own history and advance to Columbus, Ohio for the Final Four. Reporting here inside the Sprint Center in Kansas City, Tom Ebel, WCBI Sports. Robbie, we'll send it back to you in Columbus.
All right, thanks, Tom. We'll look at the tail of the tape between the Bruins and the Bulldogs. MSU has the edge in scoring offense and scoring defense, but if there's an area the Bulldogs can exploit, it is UCLA defensively. They're not great on the defensive end of things, but where UCLA is good is on the offensive rebounds. They're 11th in the country in averaging offensive rebounds per game, so the Bulldogs are going to have to work hard boxing out in that game. I want to mention as well, South Carolina-UConn going to play for the Albany Regional Final on Monday, as Asia Wilson of the Gamecocks will get another crack at the Huskies for the right to advance to the Final Four. And a special day in the honor of a former Mississippi State Bulldog, Fletcher Cox, was celebrated with a parade in his hometown of Yazoo City today. Cox and the Philadelphia Eagles won Super Bowl 52 this past season. The 2012 first-round pick has quickly become one of the top defensive players in the NFL and has made the Pro Bowl each of the last 3 seasons. Being back in Mississippi and in his hometown for the day's events meant everything for Fletcher.
It's great, you know, to be able to come back here. You know, people still love me. You know, obviously, you know, come back here and to have this day, this parade for me was, you know, was awesome. You know, Yazoo City had always, you know, had my support. You know, they all support me, so that's what's so special.
And when we come back after the break, we recap Saturday action in SEC and high school baseball. That's on the way. Welcome back to baseball from a Saturday. A rubber match between Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Top two, Cole Zabowski, a Z-bomb. A solo shot to right center. We are tied at 1. In the 5th, Big Z coming up big again. This one certainly looked like it was leaving the park as well. Cole was admiring it as if it was out of here. Instead, it goes off the wall in right center. That would score Thomas Dillard. We'd be tied at 5 after 5. You're starting to sense a theme here. Going back and forth, staying tied. Well, in the 7th, Rebels would go ahead, and it was because of former New Hope Trojan Will Golson going down the left field line. It's a fair ball, scoring Thomas Dillard once again. Rebels would lead 7-5 after 7. In the 9th, though, it got dicey for Parker Caracci, but this dude has been unflappable this entire series. He's been faced with bases loaded situations, 2-men-on situations, while runner in scoring position, strikeout on Logan Foster. Rebs take 2 of 3 in College Station, winning Game 3, 7-6. All 3 games in this series, by the way, decided by just 1 run. Rebels now 22-3 overall, 4-2 in the SEC. Up to Como, Game 2 between Mississippi State and Missouri, 9th inning. The Bulldog bats were just dreadful in this game, but they started to get hot in the 9th. This shot from Jordan Westberg into center would score Hunter Stovall. We're tied at 1. To extra innings we go. Bulldogs and Tigers don't seem to play games that end in regulation. They always seem to go extras. Remember that 17-inning debacle in the SEC tournament? Well, this one went to 15, and Hunter Stovall would have the go-ahead hit that would get Luke Alexander and Jake Mangum home. Bulldogs go up 3-1, and then Blake Smith comes on. He would finish it off getting the ground out to L.A. at short. Bulldogs would win their first SEC game of the year. Took them 5 tries, but they're on the board as they win 3-1. Rubber matches tomorrow at Missouri. To high school baseball from a Saturday. Hadley hosting some games from the area. First off, they were facing Calhoun City. Top 7. We are tied at 10. Here's JoJo Gray to right. This one's going to get down. That would score McGregor Lee. Gray would try for second. He'd get a little, too greedy. He'd be out at second, but no matter. Wildcats lead 11-10. Bottom 7, bases loaded for Hatley. Cameron Wright shot to right. It would be a ground out to first, but Eli Carter would score, so we'd be tied at 11. We go to extras. Bottom 8 now. Luke Moffitt is up. This one would be a base knock into center. It would go for a single. Then later, we have 2 outs, runners on the corners. Now, remember, Hadley's hosting a bunch of games in this sort of, invitational. A ground out to first, so we'd be tied at 11 after 8th, and they call it. You got to get all the other games in, so we'd finish the game in a tie, 11-11. I don't think I've ever seen that in baseball in quite some time. Hatley would host more games, though, and the next game they would be hosting New Site. The Royals are a really good baseball team, and they've been really strong all season long. Tigers, though, would give up the first run here. New Site would have a runner on here for Connor Presley. This one gets down. Drew Fitzsimmons would score. The Royals would take a 1-0 lead. Hatley, though, would get a run back in the second inning. Luke Moffitt would start it off, though. This liner to short would get down, and it would be a base hit. Elijah Brooks would get Reed Farah home after that, but New Site, though, would get the win over Hatley 6-1 as the Royals prevail over the Tigers. Then the SEC softball scores from today. Mississippi State equalizes in their series against 7th-ranked Georgia 5. Cat Moore had the walk-off hit in the 7th. And Ole Miss, despite losing 13-1 yesterday, the Rebels come back and win 10-3 over Alabama today. So both of those series tied 1 game apiece. Rubber matches will be tomorrow in Starkville and in Oxford. We will recap the Bulldogs and the Bruins coming up tomorrow night on WCBI Sports as MSU looks to make it back to the Final Four. That's it for sports. Last look at your forecast is next.
There is this weak line of showers. It's pushing through parts of Tennessee right now. It'll continue to push into parts of extreme northern Mississippi over the next few hours. So could see some showers overnight, but no really widespread rain any time in the next few days.
Good. That's good news. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time.